Good afternoon, everyone. Can anybody confirm they can hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. I want to be sure that everyone can hear me. I want to see it in the comment section. Please confirm that you can hear me in the comments. Hello? Okay, I just want to confirm that everyone can hear me. Awesome, good stuff. I see some comments we're facing something. Thank you. How about you? We're facing some issues, challenges. And then we're good to go. Unfortunately, apart from technical issues that we're facing, I just got word that my host for today is unfortunately absent, and so I've got to take this myself by myself. And for everyone who's just finding out about Admarp for the first time, pretty much Admarp is the Association of Digital Marketing Professionals in Nigeria and large Africa. And Africa. And so it's an association where all members, if you practice digital, practice marketing in technology, you're a practitioner across the entire continent of Africa, this is the association to be in. And so today it's quite an interesting topic that I've been chosen to speak on. It's very interesting because when you look at the landscape that we're in on the continent today, you find that there's a lot of payment companies, a lot of financial technology companies being built, a lot of banking, micro banking services, micro lending services, insurance services, micro pensions services being built. And so it's quite interesting because we see that on the continent of Africa, you see in multiple markets, mobile money is king. In Nigerian market, you see that banking is king. You see that our penetration in terms of financial services has gone up massively. Financial inclusion is growing rapidly on the continent thanks to multiple factors. And then you see that it's because industry is growing massively, there is a need to hire marketing professionals to work in this space. And for me, as a professional, I've been here over 10 years now. I've seen, I was in the industry when the industry started going up. I caught my teeth in brands like Corpay, Palmpay, Sterling Bank, Canal Point. So I was there at the infant stage of the industry, the payment industry in Nigeria, and I worked marketing. And so I can say that even right now, I have a good picture of where the market is going, where the industry is going in terms of marketing, technology, payments technology as well. And one thing that I've often seen is that a lot of times, a lot of marketing professionals do not understand the industry we're playing. And when there's this mismatch where, because I work in marketing, someone says that, oh, my own role is just to drive app installs, and so nothing concerns me with every other thing beyond app installs. You see that you see that disconnect in the way people handle their work. And for me, as a professional, when I see this disconnect, I try to, raise interventions to bridge that gap, and which is one of the things that this meeting, this session, this LinkedIn live session will be doing for all of us in this. You just go straight into it, just to go right to it. I've mentioned my name before earlier on, so I think if you're just meeting me for the first time, my name is Israel Oladipupo Ogunseye. I've worked in marketing for as long as possible, and I've worked in some pretty solid organizations, built from the ground up a Pompeii to 10 million users. Worked at Sterling, drove payment products, B2B, B2C, Coral Pay, Vertifly, Dondo, PowerTech, a couple of amazing brands pretty much on the continent. And so I think the first thing I want to speak to is that, marketers need to think about the payments layer. And it's very, very critical, because for a lot of times when you work in marketing, you think that, my role is just maybe product marketing or digital marketing or even brand marketing or even offline marketing. We think that our own role is just to build the brand. But at the end of the day, for every brand, every business out there, there's a transactional relationship between the brand and the consumer, which means that the brand needs to offer value to consumers for consumer, and consumer need to pay the brand. You see that medium of exchange, of value exchange, where the brand is built, that's pretty much what keeps the business alive. That's pretty much what keeps everyone in business, which is payments. And so for you as a business, for you who work in marketing in any business whatsoever, whether it's a startup, whether it's a large corp, you need to think about the payments layer. How do money from business? Let me give you an example. At some point, I think I was at Canada Point, we launched the product. We had a product back then, and we launched this product. Because this product is pretty much closed offline. So we did an ad. We launched an ad to drive interest or to drive leads into the product. We realized that we were getting a lot of leads. The sales team weren't really closing these leads. There was a bit of disconnect between how many leads we're getting, how many leads are being converted to customers. In fact, because the management dispute, where at some point the commercial team was saying things like, "Oh, these leads that are being converted are not from the leads." And then I've seen a lot of young marketing professionals who face this sort of challenge as well. People come to me with questions regarding, "Oh, I'm just driving leads. How do I know that leads are converting to customers, but they're not converting to customers?" And this is the reason why, for any stage of business that you're working as a marketing professional, you need to think about the payment layer. You need to think about, how do we accept payment? How do we payment from consumers? From consumers. Because if you're able to bridge that gap, if you're able to look into it, you might run a beautiful ad, amazing ad, but your payment gateway is failing. You've run an ad, you've launched the ad, you've run an app install campaign, people cannot pay for the app. People pay for the product, pay for the service. The business owner or the business would not say that, we have a fancy ad, but people are not paying, and that's why. But if you also spot that early and say that the payment we're using is not us, we need to switch it. We need to have two, just in case one is down, we can fall over to the other one. If you're unable to do that, it tells on the quality of work that you've done. It's about the quality of digital advertising, the digital campaigns that you've launched. So at the end of the day, it's critical that marketing professionals think about the payments layer of any business that they get into. And in terms of payment opportunity, I've said this earlier that the payment industry is going. I've seen in circles where people say things like, we have too many fintechs in Nigeria, we have too many fintechs in Africa. I'm of the school of thought that we do not even have enough, because there are still so many payment challenges that we are unable to solve in Nigeria. Think about P2P payments, for example. Right now, you find we've solved instant payments. I can send money from now, immediately, now you receive it immediately. We've solved instant payments. But at the end of the day, you find that issues where someone's cards get stolen, or their identity is compromised, their bank account can be compromised. And then it becomes a challenge. You have things like go get a court order to freeze your account, or go get a court order for you to get a reversal on the money that you've sent. Discrepancies like that, there are still a lot of opportunities within that industry. We still have a lot of opportunities within the payment ecosystem. Now, when people think about payments, we just think about P2P. And so what this means is that as much as the payment industry in Nigeria keeps growing, marketing professionals will be needed. There was a joke sometime somebody said recently on Twitter, on X, where somebody said, oh, you know what? It's not even a joke. With the era of vibe coding, professional AI development, software development, you find that the entry barrier to software development has been lowered to 3, and then many people are developing apps, launching apps, but they realize that people soon realize that distribution is very critical, and that's where marketing professionals come in. You've launched in the market. How do you distribute it? How do you drive customers for it? How do you acquire customers for it? So the more the payment industry increasing, the more we continually grow in the payment industry, the more we would need more marketing professionals, because the product is there. People need eyeballs for the product. People need to drive user acquisition for the product. People need to drive user retention for the product. People need to drive revenue for the product. And so the opportunity would continually grow, provided that we get more payment opportunities. We get more payment businesses coming into the market, going even into the market as well. So it's an opportunity that is never ending, like I said earlier. And so marketing professionals need to continually upskill, need to continually grow, need to continually deepen their knowledge, industry knowledge, not just marketing knowledge, sector knowledge, industry knowledge, deepen it, so that when as new players into the market, or as existing players grow bigger, your expertise becomes relevant. Your expertise becomes even more deeply relevant, amongst other things. Now, let me speak to fintech partnerships, strategic fintech partnerships in this space. Now, a lot of marketing professionals need to think about partnerships. You know, we culturally on the African continent, we're not very, collaboration is not something that might be our strongest of suits. And so guys, is a lot of us want to compete instead of collaborating. And so the collaboration is born from the angle of what value can I offer this organization or this startup. What value can I offer them? What value can they offer me? A lot of times we think about partnerships from the angle of what can I get? But it's a two-way street. You need to offer value. And I say this all the time, that marketing professionals, don't be shy of proposing partnership opportunities. Don't be shy of looking out for partnership opportunities. You can look out for partnership opportunities regarding, say, we have 10,000 customers, for example. The 10,000 customers that we have, 6,000 of them active MAUs. Which product and these 6,000 customers actively can we expose them to? Which services can we expose them to? And if we're able to expose them to these services, if we're able to upsell them to these services, what can we get from that service provider as well? So thinking about end-to-end, it creates more opportunities for professionals, marketing professionals, to become more respected in the boardroom, to gain more leverage strategically within an organization, and to perhaps be more ground in the organization and get more respected end to end. So don't just think about partnerships in a transactional perspective only. Now, I mean, I've currently the business I work in is present in is operational in 17 markets, and so I'm able to see the behavior, the payment behavior across multiple markets. And one thing I always say is that for marketing professionals, you need to think about localization a lot, which is localizing the context, localizing your marketing campaigns, but leveraging on global practices, global best practices, global best standards. So the behavior with payments is very different in multiple markets. For example, in Ghana, Momo is very, very deep there. In Ghana, if you're a Nigerian, for example, you are more bank first. If you're a Ghanaian, you're likely more Momo first. If you are a Cameroonian, for example, you're likely more Momo first. If you're an Ivorian, for example, you live in Ivory Coast, you're more likely Momo first. By Momo, I mean mobile money. So the African market, the consumer behavior regarding payments to regarding payment, the way we behave towards P2P payment, the way we behave towards remittances, the way we behave towards online shopping is very, very different. So as marketing professionals, you need to localize this context. You cannot take the payment behavior that exists in South Africa and bring it to Nigeria. Take a marketing campaign that has existed for a payment company in South Africa, for example, that has successfully launched in Senegal, for example, and bring it to Nigeria. You need to localize it because the payment behavior in Nigeria is very different from the payment behavior in Senegal. So the difference is very stark. The difference is very stark. While Africa is a continent, we have like over 54 countries, about 54 countries on the continent. And even within these countries, the behavior of payment is very different in sometimes. And so, I mean, for someone who my background is, I have a CMO background as well. And I say it all the time that marketing shapes the business. Marketing shapes business, especially technology businesses. For a lot of businesses, I mean, if you're a CEO or you were a C-suite exec, you would, especially in marketing, you see that a lot of times the conversations are regarding things like what's your CAC, what's your LTV, what's your CAC to LTV ratio, what's your burn rate, what's this, what's that. Those metrics are metrics that a lot of times, especially within the fintech and payment space, marketing professionals directly impute, directly contribute to, directly increase or decrease. And that's why I've seen jokes like, oh, when shit goes to when shit eats the roof, marketing guys take the fall first. Because a lot of times, marketing for startups, for the first 5-10 years of a startup, marketing, sales, product, the thing that drives the business, whether it succeeds or whether it fails. Sales are the products. It boils down to those things. I mean, operations also come into. Marketing is a key factor in that. And so marketing shapes the fintech strategy for many fintechs, shapes the fintech strategy. I mean, there's a popular fintech in Nigeria, PiggyVest, that was conceptualized from net conversation. So, and see how well they leverage their brand, you see how well they leverage consumer behavior to build the leverage consumer behavior to build. And the product is one of the strongest, if not the strongest in its category today, in the savings category in the country. And for a fact, marketing shapes end-to-end strategy for many fintechs. And so we marketing professionals will need to be more grounded when it comes to the payment ecosystem. Moving on to the mistakes that I see a lot of African marketing teams make. is that a lot of times we don't understand the culture. We don't take time to understand the culture. We don't take time out to understand consumer behavior. And this is something that I see oftentimes people make mistakes, especially when it comes to startups. We don't invest in understanding cultural nuances. So we are unable to communicate with the people that we want to communicate with. For example, when there's the conversation Oludo price. So far so good. I've hardly seen any brand try to leverage that trend. Trend jacking is also something that is missing a lot in these days in African marketing setting. I've hardly seen any brand try to leverage that trend. I've hardly seen any brand try to even drive the conversation to say that maybe we are contributing to the Oludo pricing or we are lowering it. A lot of times, the Oludo pricing conversation is a culture in our space, in our community. And so a lot of times you see that African marketing teams are not investing in understanding the African consumer. You see this all the time. Now, FMCGs have the luxury to do this. You find that FMCG when they release TVCs, when they do brand activations, when they tell their stories, you see that they tell the story of the African consumer. I think one brand that did tell the story of the African consumer that did resonate with quite a lot of people, I think was Money Point, pretty well. But a lot of marketing teams on the continent need to invest in understanding the consumer. Who are our consumers? What are they consuming? What kind of information are they paying attention to? What's their lifestyle? There's something we call in psychology or in marketing or in research to say that ethnography. You need to live in the life of the consumer to understand. So, and this is something that, provided it keeps lacking, you would find the mismatch. And that's why we see a lot of campaigns these days. They are lost on people. They are lost on the consumers. People will launch campaigns, nobody remembers it. Nobody remembers anything. Growing up, we used to remember TVCs from Skybank. One day, Bank PHP, cars will run on water. My friend with the mail. We had a lot of memorable TVCs. We had a lot of memorable marketing campaigns. This is the three arrangement. We have less memorable campaigns because we are less investing in understanding consumer. We perhaps are prioritizing or focusing on trying to get campaigns out as quick as possible. And so what this does is that one of the campaigns out as quick as possible is not deeply nuanced in terms of culture, it's not immersed, it doesn't communicate to the consumer, it's lost on consumers. People don't even remember it. I think, and so in the payment ecosystem, you find that a lot of payment companies are speaking the same thing. Nobody's trying to differentiate themselves. Everybody's speaking the same thing. Oh, we offer you free transfers. We offer you this, we offer you that. Nobody's trying to take some time to communicate something different, something unique about the differentiation is not really there. So, and it's a challenge for a lot of marketing professionals. We also get thrown into the river and they were just left to swim, fend for ourselves. I would close in on this final question, which is regarding. If you want to position yourself in the fintech section, I think one thing I would say is you need to study. You need to study, find mentorship, seek out mentorship, study, get into rooms where these conversations are being held. The reality is that opportunities would come to you when you're well positioned for them. So you need to get into rooms where these conversations are being held, industry events, industry groups. Get into them, have conversations. When you get into industry groups, when you get into these rooms, don't keep short and say, I don't know anything. Offer your own advice, even if it's silly, even if you don't know anything. Offer whatever knowledge you have, and then build genuine relationships. Don't be because I want to ask this person to find a job for me, or I want to just reach out, build genuine relationships. Be genuine, because oftentimes people often figure you out once they see that you're not a genuine person. And so it becomes a challenge, it becomes difficult for people to rely on you, for people to trust you, for people to believe in you enough to even get to the point where they can do anything meaningful with you. So I think those are like key points that have some of the questions that have come in before now, that people have shared, members of the association have shared before now. So I'll be happy to take questions right now. If you have questions, please feel free to put it in the comment section. Okay. I'm still looking out for questions. Okay. Without the absence of questions, I think I'm just gonna end the stream. Then, if there are other questions, I'm sure that they will be putting up to the association, and then will be shared with me to answer them. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Unfortunately, my host, she's caught up in another meeting, so I have to take the meeting myself, take the call myself. It's been a pleasure being here. I hope that you've learned one or two things, and I wish everyone good luck in your careers. Cheers. Bye bye. Yeah, I mean, Lawrence, I agree with you. I agree with you. But one of the things marketing people need to do is to build first, build reputation within the management. I think that's something that we need to do as marketing professionals. We need to do that. You need to actively do that.